Daniel Negreanu kicks things off with Queen-Jack offsuit. He is raised to $2,800, but is up against Tony G with Ace-King offsuit.
Action folds over to Tony G, who makes the call.
Two strong hands going into the flop.
Queen-6-Jack.
King of the world.
Check by Tony G.
Tony G's missed. Daniel's going to fire with top two.
Bets 5,500.
Tony G knows Negreanu would bet this flop even if he had nothing. But he decides not to go for a semi-bluff raise, and instead, he floats, letting Daniel tell his tale while he quietly waits for something on the turn.
Tony has two overcards, even though they're no good. He's really only looking for a 10 to make a gut shot.
There it is!
Tony G tries to keep a poker face as he just hit his straight. He knows Daniel Negreanu is the best of all time at reading people. This is a critical moment to let Daniel continue building the pot. He checks, letting Daniel think two-pair is the best hand here. Tony is in total control right now, patiently waiting for the right time to make his next raise get called.
Daniel bets 14 grand. A raise to 50,000 by Tony G.
A quick raise of 50,000. Tony's the kind of player that could be doing this with a worse two-pair. He could be doing it with a draw. He could be doing it with flat-out nothing, but a raise that big, that fast, usually means only one of two things, a monster hand or a monster bluff.
Daniel makes the call.
Tony using his hand to keep his mouth closed because it's probably watering right now.
The river gives Daniel a full house.
These two have been playing against each other at the highest level for 3 decades.
Tony checks.
Negreanu knows Tony has a straight, as you will see in his prediction at the end. He's not worried about being beaten here. He's just doing the math now. What's the number Tony G can't resist calling here?
Bet 80.
Negreanu makes it 80,000 to go. Snap call from Tony.
Negreanu shows him the bad news, hands him the keys of the city.
You had ace king.
Yep. Well done, Daniel. Well done.
Played it good.
Nice dealer.
Sorry, Tony, you played it good.
Jennifer Tilly kicks things off with a pair of 5s. But she's up against Hashem with Ace-King offsuit, who is raised to $2,500 in this crazy poker cash game.
Daniel's out. Tilly, pocket 5s.
Should be an easy call.
She does.
Surprise is one time, Ken, and just put the 3-bet in.
It'll happen.
Surprise
Not with those cards.
Are you feeling the peer pressure right now?
You can't think of it like that. You have to think that $800 bought you goodwill at the table and possibly an invitation to be invited back. Because, you know, these guys love when you straddle.
The flop comes 5-King 7 rainbow. Jennifer hits the set and Joe Hashem just made top pair top kicker. And if you know poker, you know that's the kind of hand that makes grown men hand over their chips with a smile and then cry in the parking lot.
Tilly donks it for 3K.
Poor Joe Hashem, this is just not his week.
Poker isn't about what you have. It's about what you represent. And right now, Joe's call caps his range. He's telling Jennifer he doesn't have two-pair. He doesn't have a set. He's sitting on a 1-pair hand, hoping to keep the pot low.
5 of clubs, quads for Jen. This is the second time Joe's been up against quads this week.
Tilly is holding the bangers. But notice, no fast plays, not even a bet. She's hoping he has caught something to hold on to while she tries to slowly squeeze him off.
Joe could easily think he's ahead.
Obviously he does. He bets 6,500.
Everyone at the table thinks she's the playful actress who overplays marginal hands. But right now, she's successfully turning that persona into pure profit. And Hashem, like most men would, falls for her trap.
Jen min raises to 13K.
By making it the smallest raise possible, she's given herself a good shot at getting called.
And Joe does make the call. Jen's got quads and she's got herself a customer. Ace of diamonds, 2-pair for Joe. That is not a good card for him.
20,000.
That's 20K.
I call.
And Joe calls.
I call, Jen.
You call?
4 of a kind again.
Am I the king of quads today or what?
Joe can't believe it.
Really?
Daniel Negreanu is looking down at 10-7 offsuit, but Seaver has raised to $1,300 with pocket 5s, and Hashem has called with Jack 10 suited.
Uh-oh, this is Daniel's favorite hand, and it's actually gotten him into trouble in the big game before.
Re-raises on the button to 5,200.
He knows Seaver's range is wide and Hashem's flat is vulnerable. Even though it's his favorite hand, he's trying to play the players, not the cards. This raise is about letting them know that he's going to give them a hard time this hand if they decide to play along.
Scott Seaver is really hoping Daniel has an overpair so that he has the right implied odds to make this call.
Hashem folded, so heads up to the flop. King, deuce, queen. Seaver checks the best hand.
Negreanu knows Seaver could easily have king-queen here after raising and then calling Daniel's re-raise pre-flop. But why would he check? Daniel smells weakness, and that's usually when he gets curious.
He reps, betting 6,200.
Looks like Scott's gonna peel.
He calls.
Hashem wants his cards back.
6 of spades on the turn. Seaver checks.
Daniel still got just 10 high. This is one of the dangers of having a favorite hand.
Daniel does not look like he's about to check. After just calling the flop and checking the turn, Negreanu is probably putting Seaver on a draw or the weak pocket pair he does indeed have. He's thinking, if I apply the right pressure now, Seaver might just fold and give me all the money.
Daniel does fire that third barrel, making it $14,200 to go.
I could justify Scott's call on the flop, thinking maybe Daniel would shut down after one bet, but Daniel certainly hasn't shut down.
Seaver keeps it going. He calls.
Seaver's totally stationing Negreanu.
You mean like a calling station?
Exactly.
4 clubs on the river. Seaver checks.
Sick.
Daniel fires 36,000.
Seaver is capped, checked every street, and never repped strength. Daniel has nothing, but he knows Seaver is weak enough to fold. This is a masterclass.
Folds the winner.
Phew-wee. You had me staring. I had my favorite hand. You know what that is?
10-7?
7 of diamonds and 10 of clubs specifically. Can't believe I got away with a bluff.
Moneymaker opens under the gun with pocket sevens. That's right on the margin, but deep stacked it works.
Ace King for Chris Oliver. Blimey, he's got a legitimate hand. Something we normally don't see.
Oliver, 2 seats over, 3 bets with Ace King offsuit. Against an early position open, that's completely standard. Ace King is at the top of the non-pair range, and 3 betting applies pressure. Already you can see how the ranges are shaping up. Oliver is more top-heavy, Moneymaker is more board-connected. When Moneymaker makes the call, his range keeps all the pocket pairs and suited connectors that play well on dynamic textures.
What you got, Chris?
What's up?
What you playing?
1.5.
This is a board that heavily favors Moneymaker's calling range. He can realistically have straights, sets, and strong-suited connectors. Oliver, by contrast, doesn't connect as often. His 3-bet range is weighted toward big pairs and overcards. Moneymaker checks first, which is standard, and Oliver wisely checks back. Bluffing Ace-King here would just burn chips because UTG simply has too much coverage on this texture. The paired 10 is interesting. On the surface, it should help Oliver, because as the 3-better, he can credibly represent trip 10s or even full houses. But in practice, Moneymaker still holds more straights and continues to own range advantage. When Moneymaker now leads 170K, it's a smart choice. He denies equity to ace highs and clubs, and he's telling a believable story of strength. Oliver makes the call with ace-king, but this is a thin float.
Ace-king looks pretty pre-flop, but on this turn, it's ugly enough to give Freddy Krueger nightmares.
The river completes everything, straights, flushes, full houses. Moneymaker checks, which is a clever trap. After leading the turn, this invites Oliver to take a stab. Oliver obliges, betting 200K, trying to represent the very monsters that just got there. But here's the problem. After checking the flop, his line doesn't realistically contain full houses, and without a club, ace-king is one of the worst bluff candidates.
Are you going to show me if I fold?
Anytime you ask, I'll show you. Chris Moneymaker.
Moneymaker sees right through it and springs the trap with a check raise to 450K. Oliver can't credibly continue.
And Chris Oliver forced to fold ace high.
Negreanu picks up Jack-4 suited, a hand most of us will fold, but Negreanu opens light to attack the straddle money, and Williams just flats with kings, which is a great slow play in this lineup. By not squeezing, he keeps the weaker parts of Negreanu's range in, lets the third player come along with dominated hands, and hides the real strength of his holding. On a jack-high flop, the initiative flips to pure range advantage. Negreanu has all the top pair junk kickers, all the jacks from his open, and tons of c-bet candidates. His small bet is value and protection at the same time. He wants folds from underpairs and worse broadways while still keeping dominated jacks in the pot. Williams springs the trap with a raise that does 2 jobs. It inflates the pot against the exact hands he's targeting, top pair worst kicker, and it taxes the draws and gutters that would love a cheap turn. The sizing is clever, big enough to deny, small enough to keep Negreanu attached with his 1-pair hands. Negreanu's call is the disciplined answer. If he 3-bets, he isolates himself versus sets and overpairs. By calling, he controls the pot, keeps bluffs alive, and forces Williams to keep telling a story on later streets. The turn pairs Negreanu, and that changes everything.
This is such a dirty card. I mean, who can really put someone on Jack-4?
Jack-4 goes from bluff catcher to a genuine value hand that beats the most common part of Williams's line, which is exactly the overpairs that raise flop and barrel turn. When Williams continues with a confident bet, his range is face-up strong but capped below sets because of the pre-flop flat.
I'm all in.
Negreanu's shove is surgical. It denies the river to kings and queens. It charges every nut flush draw or combo draw that decided to keep pressing, and it leverages fold equity against hands that hate calling off but also hate folding. Precisely the overpairs that slow played pre. If he only calls, he lets every overcard, counterfeit, or backdoor scare card complicate the river, and he gives Williams a free shot. Jamming sets the price now and punishes the trap.
Which is it?
50, 74, 9, 80. Call? Once or twice?
Okay, we want to see hands first or no?
Well, I don't care. I'll do twice either way.
I'll do twice.
First river card is a jack.
Oh, that's it. That's a good one for me.
The second river is a 7.
Malec is looking down on pocket 4s. He limp calls the small blind to keep the pot cheap, hide his strength, and tempt the big blind to isolate wider than normal. Reichenstein does exactly that with Queen 6 offsuit.
1.2? 1.4. Wow. 1.4. Okay.
Yuri may end up regretting telling Sebastian to have fun.
Malec's banter here is not small talk. It's deliberate downplay to make his range look weak and to encourage future barrels. On an ace-high 2-heart flop, the raiser is supposed to bet at a high frequency, so Reichenstein's c-bet is automatic. Malec just calls. Raising a set here would shut down bluffs and fold out a ton of hands that are willing to keep paying. The flat keeps his range looking like weak aces, small pairs, and heart draws. It also preserves the initiative narrative on Reichenstein's side, which is exactly what you want when you're trapping. The turn brings the 10 of spades, a card that's better for the better story than for the callers. It adds overcard pressure to Malec's perceived ace-rag or pocket pair range and gives Reichenstein clean justification to keep firing with value and withdraws. Malec calls again. He isn't worried about protection. He wants the widest possible river betting range. Calling maintains the illusion that he's hanging on with a marginal 1-pair hand or a busted draw and invites a big third barrel.
Malec improves to quads. Oh, wow, just quads.
The river is the 4 of diamonds and it detonates the trap. Malec upgrades from a set to quads at the exact moment his opponent is most committed to the bluff. From Reichenstein's chair, this is a perfect shove card with value and a great scare card for bluffs. Many weak aces should fold to maximum pressure and missed hearts are everywhere. He chooses a large bet to blast those hands out. The problem is credibility and blockers. Queen 6 with no heart blocks, nothing that matters. It doesn't remove Malec's full houses, quads, or even the strong ace-x that will call. Meanwhile, Malec's line of call arrives at the river with almost no natural bluffs and a ton of slow-played value.
All in.
He shoves.
When he moves all in, he's perfectly polarized and his story is airtight. He let the big blind tell the tale on every street, then revealed the ending.
He folds.
Keating's looking down on ace-queen offsuit. Peter comes along with ace-7 suited, a hand that plays fine multi-way but is easily dominated by Keating's calling range. Stanley takes the button with Jack-10, a classic position hand that realizes equity well against 3 opponents. Keating flats pre-flop with ace-queen from the small blind instead of squeezing. Out of position and deep, that call invites dominated aces and worse queens to continue while avoiding a bloated pot against a raiser who can 4-bet. The flop favors ranges that arrived by calling. Keating's ace-queen makes second pair with the best kicker and holds the key blocker to Broadway. His call versus the c-bet is standard. Raising turns his hand into a bluff catcher against stronger kings and sets while isolating himself versus better. Peter's call with ace-7 is thin but defensible. He has bottom pair, an overcard, and backdoor hearts, and he wants to keep his range uncapped for later streets. Stanley's call with Jack-10 is mandatory. He has the best improvement potential with the open-ender and position. The turn ace changes the incentive structure completely. Keating now holds aces and queens, and, out of position in a multi-way pot, checking is superior. Betting announces strength, repels worse, and makes it easy for a better ace like ace-king to play perfectly against him. By checking, he allows weaker aces and floats to fire or show down worse. Peter quietly improves to 2-pair, and he should notice how clean his value targets are, aces that didn't connect with the king or queen, plus stubborn kings that hate folding. But checking has logic too. He controls the pot and traffic and preserves bluffs for the river. Stanley's check is the costly one. With Jack-10, he owns the nuts on a paired board that still grants him clear value from top pairs and combo draws. Letting it check through surrenders value and protection, and it exposes him to exactly what happens next. The board pairs again, and his straight gets stone dead. The river double pairs the ace and reorders the hierarchy. Keating upgrades to aces full of queens, Peter lands on aces full of 7s, and Stanley is drawing thin to chatter.
And this is going to get very nasty for Peter. Maybe Stanley also, but especially Peter.
Checks from Keating and the original raiser are invitations. Peter accepts with a big bet that targets trip aces and missed draws and tries to dodge raises from the few better full houses. Stanley correctly folds once the ace pairs again, straights or dust. Keating's river decision should lean exploitative here. Against Peter, who routinely overplays strong 1-pair and boat combos, a value raise prince. Keating's hand is under-repped. He blocks the most common equal boat with the queen. Peter's turn check makes ace-king less likely, and Texas Mike is capped after check-check.
Did he just call? He just called.